Hey, THS Algebra 1, this is Mr. Cochran coming back at you. Lesson today, solving equations. So our topics today are going to be how to solve an equation, the steps to follow to solve an equation, and key concepts that we need to go back and remember, just inverse operations, variable, and reciprocal. Let's get at it. All right, so here's our process. It's going to be 1, get rid of parentheses. I know there's a little pun in there with the word parentheses and the parentheses around it. It's my dad jokes, my bad. Number 2, CLT, combine like terms. Make it into two expressions. What I mean by that is make it a left side and make it a right side. And we're going to combine groups, combine like terms on each side before we do anything in step 3, which is combine like terms over the equal sign. Step 4 is solve the variable, and then step 5 is going to be check it. Let's get at it. So if you look on the right hand side, I have the list still of what to follow, the steps to follow, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to do that right now. Here we go. All right, so we have v minus 10 equals negative 9. So some of you right now could probably just go, oh, I know the answer to this. What number subtract 10 gets me negative 9? So if you want to do the mental math, you can. However, this is algebra class, so let's do the algebra. Step 1 says what? Get rid of parentheses. Do we see any parentheses? Nope. So guess what? You did 20% of the job, and you didn't even have to do anything. All right, step 2 says combine like terms. Make it have two expressions. So what does that mean? It looks like this. I'm going to put a box here. Ready? Look at the left side. Can I combine v and negative 10? No, so that means that is going to be simplified. Can I combine anything on the right side? There's only a negative 9, so I can't. So guess what, guys? 40% of the project is already done, and we didn't even do anything. All right? Now, step 3 is where we're going to start. Combine like terms over the equal sign. We talked about the word variable. So v is our variable. So I'm just going to mark that with a v. All right. It just so happens that our variable is v. So there's the v there, the variable. And now we have negative 10. Negative 10 is a constant. All right. And then the equal sign. And then negative 9, which is also a constant. Right now, I need to combine those two constants together. And they're on the opposite side of the equal sign. So how do you undo a negative 10? There's this word that we're going to use right now is inverse operation. You probably heard it before. This is not your first time to math. So ready? What's the opposite of a negative? Positive. Perfect. So we're going to add 10 to the left side. When we do that, we get this quick little flashcard. What is negative 10 plus 10? If you don't want to think of it that way, what's 10 minus 10? It's a little bit easier. It's 0. So right now, we technically have v plus 0. However, you've probably heard this if you're paying attention in class. Whatever you do to the left side, you have to do the right side because it's not fair, right? So if we add a 10 to the left, we have to add 10 to the right. So when we add 10, again, we get this little flashcard math here. What is negative 9 plus 10? Again, I'm not a big fan of taking a negative and adding a positive to it. So let's take 10 and subtract 9. What is 10 minus 9? That equals 1. So we get v plus 0, or just v on the left, equals 1. Oh, I'm sorry, we already solved it too because v was all by itself. So we actually did 80% of the problem already. The last step is to check it. So let's just check it in red. Let's plug this in. Anytime I see v, if you remember function notation, anytime we see a variable, we put parentheses in. Minus 10 equals negative 9. What did we say v was? We said v was positive 1. So we're going to substitute in 1 wherever I saw v. So now we get 1 minus 10 equals negative 9. Well, what's 1 minus 10? Negative 9. So negative 9 equals negative 9. Smiley face time. Boom. All right. New problem. Step 1. What's always step 1? Get rid of parentheses. We often forget this step because guess what? Not many problems have parentheses in them. Number 2 says what? Combine like terms. What is on the left side of the equal sign? just one constant, so that can't combine with anything because there's only one pile over there. On the right side, we have b minus 6. Why can't we combine b with negative 6? One's a variable, one's a constant. Perfect. So ready? We can't even do step 2 because it's already done. It's already solved for. So we only have to do 60% of this problem, and 20% of that is just the check. So we only really have to do 2 steps here. My Alexa's going off. So ready? We are going to look at that negative 19. We can't do anything on the left side. So let's go to the right side. What can we do? Good. We have to add 6 to make this flashcard here. Get b by itself. All right. And when we do that to the right, we have to do that to the left. So I'm going to add 6 to its like term. The like term is that constant, so we have to combine these constants. So what is negative 19 plus 6? All right, if it's been a while, it's probably since March, since you really did some math. So I don't blame you if you need a calculator here. So I'm going to let you get that. Maybe pause the video, get a calculator, look at it. Negative 19 plus 6 is negative 13. So right now we've isolated our variable. We have b equals negative 13. So we've actually done step 3 and step 4. And now we're going to check it. We did the check in red, so I'm going to do the check again. So negative 19 equals, oh, there's a variable, so we're going to put it in parentheses, minus 6. What did we say our parenthesis was? Negative 13. So what we're going to do is combine like terms, negative 13 minus 6. So once again, we're going left from 0, 13 hops, and then we're going to take negative 6 hops, which is 6 more to the left, and we're going to get negative 19. Is that a surprise? Heck no, because we know how to math. So ready? Negative 19 equals negative 19. Put a bad boy smiley face right there, because guess what? We just checked it, and we got it right. You know what that means? Moving on. Whoop. Negative 3y equals negative 12. So here's a little bit different because what are we doing here? We are doing multiplication. So it's negative 3 times y. How do you undo, or what is the inverse operation of multiplication? Good, it's division. So how do you undo negative 3 times? Whatever you do to the left, we're going to take that and divide it by negative 3. If we do it to the left, we have to do it to the right. What is negative 3? What is this flashcard? What's negative 3 divided by negative 3? It's positive 1. We want 1y left over. Well, guess what? We just got it. And we're intelligently lazy, and we don't put that coefficient of 1y just because we're, again, intelligently lazy. So now we have the equal sign, and we have this flashcard over here. What is a negative divided by a negative? Positive. What is 12 divided by 3? 4. All right, so now last but not least, we have to check that. Negative 3. We have a y there, so I'm going to put that variable, substitute with parentheses, equals negative 12. What did we say y equals? It actually equals a number, which is 4. Now we're going to distribute. Negative 3 times a 4 is negative 12. Again, that should not be a surprise because we know how to math. And we get our smiley face. Next. Ooh, what's happening to W here? All right. It's being divided. So I did not do this last time. I'm sorry. Number 1 is get rid of parentheses. Do you see parentheses here? Nope. All right. Step 1's done. Can you combine like terms on the left and the right? Is there anything on the left? Just a negative 12. Is there anything on the right? It's W divided by negative 4. We can't do anything. All right, we can't do anything with that. It's the F word. It's a fraction. So guess what? Step 2 is done also. Combine like terms over the equal sign. There really are no like terms, right? Because we have a constant here and a variable that's being divided by a constant. All right, so we have to undo that here in the solve part. Where is negative 4? Because we're doing this inverse operation, we're dividing. So what we're going to do, negative 4 is on the bottom. We're actually going to move it to the top, right? And we're going to get this, negative 4 times w, or negative 4w. What's negative 4 times 1? Negative 4. So now, we haven't done anything on the left side. What was this answer again from last problem? What's negative 3 divided by negative 3? It was 1. So guess what? We're going to negative 4 divided by negative 4 and get 1 again. And whatever we do to that one side, the right side, we're going to do the left side. So we're going to get negative 4 over 1. I'm just going to make it look like a fraction. What is negative 4 times negative 12? Positive 48. All right, so we solved it. Now, of course, what do you have to do? Check our work. We get negative 12 equals parentheses divided by negative 4. What do we do with our parentheses? Put our final answer in there, which was 48. What is 48 divided by negative 4? Again, if you need a calculator, no big deal. No one's judging. But we're going to get negative 12 equals negative 12, which, again, gives us our smiley face. Moving on. Ooh, here's a nice problem that some of you get intimidated by. It's called fractophobia. Some of you have a fear of fractions, right? All a fraction is a number with a top and a bottom, all right? So let's not get too intimidated by a top and a bottom. So right now it's negative 4/5 x equals negative 2. What is negative 4/5 x or 4/5 doing to x? It's being multiplied. How do you undo multiplication? With division. But instead of making more fractions, when there is a fraction, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to take negative 5 over 4. And whatever we do to the left, we do to the right. Where is that negative 2 right now? I can show you where it's at. It's on the top. All right, so now what we're going to do is just multiply across the tops, which is negative 5 times negative 4, giving us positive 20. We're going to multiply across the bottom. What is 4 times 5? 20x. 20 over 20x. What's 20 over 20? 1. Now let's take our tops and multiply those. What is negative 2 times 5? Positive 10. What is 1 times 4? 4. And we're going to get 10/4. That might be a good answer. However, as a math teacher, we want to teach you the simplest, the most basic form of that. So if you know 10 and 4 have a common factor of 2. So we're going to take this and divide it by a factor of 2 over 2, which is really just 1. So we're just going to make these numbers smaller. What is 10 divided by 2? 5. What is 4 divided by 2? 2. So we get a fraction as an answer. No big deal. Fractions are our friends, not food. So ready? Negative 4, we got to check this. Negative 4/5 parentheses, because I want to substitute in for my x. We're going to get 5 over 2. And again, we're just take our tops and multiply across the numerators, right? Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Multiply the denominators, the bottoms. What's 5 times 2 is 10. Simplify that fraction. Negative 20 divided by 10 is negative 2 equals what's on the right, negative 2. Guess what? We're happy. Happy, 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 happy. All right. Number 1, get rid of parentheses. You could tell I skipped these steps because I know what I'm doing. My apologies. Let's go back to it. Number 1, get rid of parentheses. Do you have parentheses? Nope. Check it off. 2, combine like terms. Can you combine anything on the left side? There's just a 6. Can you combine anything on the right side? We actually can in this problem. We have 1 and we have a positive 5. So all we're going to do is combine those. What is 1 plus 5? Good. 6. So now we simplify these from 2 piles or 2 terms into 1 term. It's called combining like terms. Now we have our negative 2n because we haven't touched it, And don't forget what's behind that white panel right there was our equal sign and positive 6. So now we've done step 2. So the first time we've ever had to do step 2 looks like that. Now let's go to step 3, combine like terms over the equal sign. So what I have to do is I have a constant, equal, constant, and I have my variable. All right, so with that variable, that's going to stay on the right side. I need to move a positive 6. How do you inverse operation of positive? Good, subtract 6. And I'm going to move it here, and there's only one term that I can really combine it with, which is my other constant. What is 6 minus 6? 0, so it should simplify to nothing on the right side. And take a look what happens here on the left. I picked this problem on purpose. What is 6 minus 6? 0. 0 is a great number, all right? You can multiply by it. You can add by it. It's easy to subtract by, but you can't divide. So it's nice because we don't have to do the 4 operations. We only have to do 3 when we get an answer of 0. So step 3 is done. Now let's solve it. How do you undo negative 2 times of n divided by negative 2? Whatever I do to the right, I'm going to do to the left. So I get n equals, what's 0 divided by negative 2? 0. If you don't believe me, what are we going to do? Step 5. What's step 5? Check it. 6 equals 1 minus 2 parentheses plus 5. What are we going to have to do here? We're going to plug in our 0. We're going to get negative 2 times 0, which is 0. Bring down our 1. Bring down our 5. Bring down our equal sign and our 6. We're going to combine like terms. What is 1 minus 0? 1. What's 1 plus 5? 6 equals 6. So guess what? We're happy. We got our answer. I know it's not 0. However, when we check it, it needs to equal. The left side needs to equal the right side, which 6 equals 6. Step 5, done. We are happy and moving on. All right, first time we're seeing parentheses. So let's get rid of them. What does it mean to get rid of parentheses? It means to multiply or distribute. There are 2 terms here, p and negative 8. What's a negative outside of parentheses mean? It means take the opposite. What's the opposite of p? Negative p. So what's negative 1 times p? Right? Negative 1 times p is negative p. What is negative 1 times negative 8? You have 2 terms, so we need to have those 2 humps there. Negative and negative is a positive, so it's the opposite signs that we're going to get here. 8. So now that we've done that, we've simplified and gotten rid of the parentheses. We need to still not forget about that left side and the equal sign. So we've done step 1 now. Step 2 says combine like terms. Can I combine anything on the left? No. Can I combine anything on the right? Nope, because it's a variable and a constant. So step 2 we didn't have to do. Perfect. Make it easy. Now we're at step 3, combine like terms over the equal sign. Remember, that's going to be the inverse operation step. So ready? We have a constant here in 14 and a constant here in positive 8. The only thing keeping those 2 things from meeting is that equal sign. So we know we're going to have to do inverse operation. And since we're going to solve for p, we're going to move positive 8. What's the opposite of a positive? Negative. Negative 8. Whatever we do to the right side, we have to do to the left side. There's a constant pile there already, so this gets me 0. Negative p equals, what is 14 minus 8? 6. So that step is done. Now we need to solve. We don't want negative p. We actually want positive p. So my quick check is, how do you undo a negative? Just take the opposite. What's the opposite of a negative p? Positive p. What's the opposite of a positive 6? A negative 6. Or you can divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1, and get our answer here. So that's step 4. Step 5, we do in red is our check. So 14, go back to our original problem, equals negative parenthesis. I'm going to put double parentheses here, 8. And what do we put in parentheses is negative 6. So the first thing we're going to always do is our parentheses here. So let's combine these 2 things. What is negative 6 minus 8? Is negative 14. Just bring everything down. Now we need what's negative times a negative. Positive 14 equals positive 14. Because we need to distribute to that negative 14 or take the opposite of. Any questions? Again, if you have any, I'm going too fast. Stop, pause the video, re-listen to what we're saying, all right? And again, if you do have questions throughout this process, make sure that you have a Google Meet set up with us, or make sure that you are asking in class, okay? Because we are going at a pretty quick pace. We know that. However, it's also your responsibility to make sure that we are 100% engaged and ready to rock and roll. Only a couple more, I promise. We need to get all the different types of examples out. So number one, what's it always? Good, parentheses. I see parentheses on the left side. So ready? Let's distribute. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 had a best friend of x, so x is tagging. What is 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. I'm giving you the answer already. So that we simplified that. We still have all this to record behind. So step 1 is done. I could do more steps if I want to, but I'm just going to show you the basics right now. Number 2 says combine like terms. Make into 2 expressions. So what I'm going to do is kind of just hide this over here. What is left on the left side? What is not in the box? You have 8x minus 6 minus 8. So here's a variable, here's a constant, and here's a constant. Since they're all on the same side, I'm just going to take these two and do not do inverse operation because they're on the left side. We're just going to combine them. What is negative 6 minus 8? It's negative 14. Again, we are not doing inverse operation when they're on the same side of the equation in step 2. All right, since we simplified 2 terms into 1 term because we combine like terms, CLT, we just recopy what's left over there. And now we are going to check out what's on the right side. Can we do anything with a 4 and a positive 2x? This again is a constant. This is a variable. Can you combine constants with variables? No, they're different. That's why they're called different things. So we're just going to recopy 4 plus 2x. And guess what? Step 2 is done. Step 3 says combine like terms over the equal sign. So as math people, we like to kind of like be in a routine. A lot of people like to move the variables to the left side of the equation. So what I'm going to do is take this term, positive 2x, do not forget that sign in front, and move it across the equal sign. Remember, what's left and right? They're opposites. So what's an opposite of a positive 2x? Good, negative 2x. Now here's the tricky part. Does it go with the 8x or does it go with the negative 14? Well, it has an x in it, so it's kind of an obvious answer that we're going to want to put it over here. And look, my equation's still balanced. I'm subtracting 2x from the left. I'm subtracting 2x from the right. So what is 2x minus 2x? That gets me 0. So I'm just going to have a 4 left over here. And let's do this quick problem here. What's 8 minus 2x? 6x. Good. And I didn't do anything with that. Negative 14 yet. So I just recopy it. And now I still have like terms over the equal sign. Do you see them? Again, this is my variable. This is my constant. And this is my constant. So I need to move negative 14 to the other side. What's the opposite of a negative 14? Good. Positive 14. Positive 14. This is going to give me my 0. Again, you can see how I crossed out that right side with the x's. Now I'm crossing out the constants on the left side. So what's left over there? Just a 6x. If you can see, we're getting this like pizza shape too as we go on. That means you're simplifying. You're getting smaller piles, which is a good thing. So now what's 4 plus 14? That's 18. So we just combined like terms. It seemed like a lot of work. You're right, it was. But step 3 is done. Now we're at step 4. How do you solve what's 6 times x? How do you undo multiplication? Good, division. And now we're going to get x equals 3. All right, so that's step 4. Step 3 is the one that takes the most time, I think. So ready? In red, we check 2 times 4 parenthesis minus 3 parenthesis minus 8 equals 4 plus 2 parenthesis. So with that, we are going to put 3. Boom, here and here. So let's do this first. What's 12 minus 3? That gets me 9. Because I'm going to distribute 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. Now we have that. Because we just combined all this goodness into one number. That's what we always try to do, is simplify. So now let's go over, and we have -8, sorry. And there's our equal sign. We have 4 plus, we have that set of parentheses that we need to distribute to, which is 6. So right here we have parentheses again, so it's 18 minus 8 equals 4 plus 6. 18 minus 8 is 10. 4 plus 6 is 10. Holy smokes, guess what? A lot of work. You're right. Welcome to high school, baby. 10 equals 10, smiley face. We're ready to rock. Again, this is a big problem. Watch it 3 times. I think it probably took about 3 minutes to solve, so it's going to be a big problem. But you know what? We can do it. I think, is this our last problem? Just kidding. We have 2 more problems to go. So ready? On your mark, get set, go. Step 1, what is it? Do you see any? I see some on the right side. All right, so let's go. Here's my equal sign. Let's distribute just this part right here. -3 times b is -3b. -3 times a positive 4 is, oops, let's undo that. Negative times positive is a negative. And we only did what was in that box. There's still a 3 out front. All right. And I'm going to do this problem just a slight different variation. I'm only going to worry about the right side until I can't combine anything else. I have a constant here, a variable here, and a constant here. I'm going to take -12 and add 3. All right, so I'm not going to do anything to this -3b because it doesn't have anything to combine with. So now let's do -12 plus 3, which is -9. So now I'm left with a variable and a constant. I can't combine those. So I said I was going to do this a little bit different, so that's how I'm doing a little bit differently. I did the whole right side until I can't do anything else. So now let's do the left side. You have 7b and -4b. Those are both variables. And then we have positive 3 in the middle, which is a constant. So ready? Let's take these 2 variables and combine them. What do you get? What's 7 minus 4? Good. 3b. All right. We haven't done anything else to that plus 3, so we're going to drop it down. So now that we've done step 1 and step 2, we're going to combine like terms over the equal sign. I like to put my variables to the left. All right, so I'm going to focus on this -3b. How do you undo a -3b? We add 3b. We're going to add 3b because whatever we do to the left, we do to the right. And we're going to get 6b with this flashcard. We're going to have the plus 3 here and a -9 here. We are going to subtract 3 from the left, subtract 3 to the right, and we're going to get 6b equals -12. How do you undo 6 times b? Good. We're going to get b equals -2. Any questions? Let's see if we did it right. Let's go on red. So 7 parenthesis, we said -2 is our answer. Plus 3 minus 4 -2 equals 3 minus 3 parenthesis -2 plus 4, running out of space. So this is a plus 4 over here. I don't know why it's not letting me write on the page. So what's -2 plus 4? We get 2. negative 3. Let's distribute over here. We get negative 6 and 3. Let's distribute here. We get negative 14 plus 3. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. We get combine like terms. I'm just going to take my positives and get 11 here. Negative 14 plus 11. What's negative 14 plus 11 is negative 3. What's 3 minus 6? Negative 3. So again, these problems take a long time, and we went through it rather quickly. So again, just take your time, pause, and go. All right. To be honest with you, you don't need to check your answer. However, you know you get 100% because we can see that they equal at the end. So it is an extra step, but it's an extra step of reassurance and knowing that you get 100%. All right, last promise, or last problem, I promise. 5 times 2, we have parentheses, sorry. So I'm only going to look right now at this left side. What is 5 times 2? X is tagging along. What is 5 times 6? 30. Perfect. Let's do these set of parentheses. What is this set of parentheses? Negative 4 times negative 5. Positive 20. What's negative times negative 2x? Positive 8. X is tagging along. Plus 3. Step 1's done. Step 2. Again, let's take a look. Can we do anything with 10x and a positive 30? No, because one's a variable, one's a constant. Let's go over here. Can we do anything over here? You have a constant plus a variable plus a constant. You heard us say constant twice on that right side. So let's combine those two things. We don't do inverse operation. Again, we just add them together. So a positive 20 and a positive 3 gets us positive 23. Two terms turn into 1 plus 8x because we didn't do anything to that. We just drop it like it's hot. Good. Now we get 10x plus 30 on the left because we haven't done anything with those because, again, that was a variable and a constant. Now we are on step 3, combine like terms over the equal sign. Again, we are creatures of habit. We want to move that variable to the left. So here we go. We're going to move this positive 8x. How do you undo a plus sign? Good. Subtract 8x. And we have two terms to choose from. It's kind of obvious because one has an x and one doesn't, and we're combining our x's. So here, what's 10 minus 8? 2. X's is what we're combining. We didn't do anything to this positive 30, so we're going to drop that into our equation still. We didn't do anything to that equal sign, so drop that. We didn't do anything to this 23. We did do something to that positive 8. We subtracted 8 from it, so it's going to be 0 or gone, all right? Now we need to isolate 2x on the left. So let's take that positive 30. How do you undo? What's the inverse of positive 30? Negative 30. Good. Whatever do to the left, you do to the right. And there's only constants to combine. So here's our flashcard here. What's 30 minus 30? Good. 2x. What is 23 minus 30? Negative 7. So that is combining like terms. Now we're going to solve it. How do you undo 2 times of x? The inverse operation of times is division. So we're going to get 2 there. And we are going to get a fraction as an answer. X equals negative 7 over 2. Any questions? I lied. That's wrong. Because, and that's what kind of stinks about doing this, this was a 3x. I was supposed to combine these. So let's undo that. All that work, I know. But guess what? I knew we were going to be wrong because that fraction was not a pretty looking fraction. So let's redo everything. 5 times 2x, 10x. 5 plus, or 5 times positive 6, positive 30, equals negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8x. plus 3x. Oh, Cockburn, you forgot that last time. I know. Guess what? Even teachers make mistakes. That's why I'm keeping it on here. I don't really care. Can you combine x and or 10x and 30? No. Again, one's a variable, one's a constant. Over here, this is where we made that mistake last time. Is I forgot the x. It's a common mistake. You're going to make it again. I'm going to make it again. My apologies for taking a little bit longer on this video. However, guess what? We got to get it right. So 20, we're going to combine our 8x and our 3x. So they're both positive. So we're going to get, oh yes, positive 11x. That should make more sense here in a second. 10x plus 30. We can't combine those, so we just recopy them. Again, we want to be creatures of habit. So we're going to take this and move the negative 11x to the other side. We have a choice. Do we do it to the 10x or the 30? Good. The x terms, because they're like terms. Now we get negative x plus 30 equals 20. This got a 0. Subtract 30 from the left side. Subtract 30 from the right side. You get negative x equals negative 10. And we don't have a fraction for an answer. Good. Are we done yet? No. We want the opposite of negative x. So we're going to divide this by negative 1, divide this by negative 1, or as I like to do it, what's the opposite of negative x? Positive x. So what's the opposite of the right side? Negative 10 is positive 10. All right. Now let's check our work. Maybe. There we go. 5 parenthesis 2 parentheses plus 6 parentheses equal negative 4. I'm going to run out of room. These are 10s. When I'm substituting, 2 times 10 is 20. 20 plus 6 is in parentheses. So that's going to get me 26 times 5. This is going to get me negative 20, negative 5. So that's negative 25 plus 3 times 10 is 30. A negative times a negative is a positive. So that's a positive 100 plus 30, giving me 130. Off the top of my head, I don't know what 5 times 26 is, so I'm just going to do that quick math over here. That's 0, carry the 3, 130, and guess what? 130 equals 130. We can smiley face that bad boy. So guess what? Although I made a mistake, I learned from that mistake, all right? Because I knew I was going to get ugly fractions in there. So guess what? We had to erase everything. That happens to the best of us. It happens to your teachers, all right? So what you have to do is persevere. When you make a mistake, it stinks. I get it. But guess what? It's well worth it when you fix it because you feel like that much better when you get 100%. Again, just a quick review, how to solve an equation, steps to follow, key concepts, inverse operation, variable, and reciprocal. Other than that, if you have a question, please email. We'll set up a time to meet on Google Meet, or we can meet face-to-face in class next block. If you need time to go back and review this, please take your time, pause, scrub back, and go on. Other than that, have a great day. Take care, guys.